Morning, guys. Lexiot's Raptor Freak. New Year's Day. Happy 2022, buddy. Happy New Year. Hopefully this year will be better than the last 2 years as far as different things, whether it's the pandemic, the stupid shit that we're dealing with in life these days. And just, I wish everybody could, health, happiness, success, everything good in this new year that's starting. And boy, what a great way to end the year last night with the Raptors. I mean, it wasn't pretty at times. It looked a little like at times, and like there was some doubt and worry that this game could have been lost last night for sure. But it was great to see everything turn out okay and work out in the end. As far as our three main vets showed up big time last night, and I'm really I said last year, and that would have been accurate. With Pascal, OG, and Fred playing real big last night and being those kind of guys that we need them to be. And I just liked a lot of stuff that happened last night. There were some problems, obviously. There's some major issues we got to work out and different things like that. We still had stagnant periods where we couldn't buy a basket. I mean, the Clippers have some good defense at times, but that period of time, the last 5 minutes of the first half, we only scored like 2 points over like 6 minutes. And that's really bad. That's really, really bad. And that's not just their defense. That's us not being able to find the basket in a consistent way. But overall, the guys did good. I think Nick did a pretty good job with the rotations and who he picked to start and who should coming in and out. But let's go through the whole thing. I welcome everybody here this morning and stuff. I mean, let's talk about, first of all, Pascal Siakam. Obviously, this guy, holy cow, this guy, I mean, I don't know how anybody could be a hater of him. Because if you watched him play last night, he was such a worker. Sure, he missed half his shots, and sometimes he did look like those frustrating Pascal shots that just didn't go in. They just rimmed out. But, man, did he work on the glass last night. 19 rebounds last night, guys. And it was really him and Chris at some points where I was like, wow, these guys are really taking care of the boards for us last night. And I just loved Pascal's enthusiasm and energy in that game last night. He was a true leader, and he really helped us at key times. And I love that he didn't try and do it all himself, that he was still really quick to pass out the double team at different times, and that really helped and worked. And it was just great to see everybody out there together. Unfortunately, Scotty wasn't there, and that's the thing, these late scratches, like I said, anything that we think is going to happen earlier in the day, it could change. That's just the way it is these days. So it was too bad Scotty wasn't there, but it was nice to see him on the bench cheering and getting really active. And to me, it's good for him to get the different perspectives, whether it's playing, not playing. That's why I think he should come off the bench a little bit, because it'll broaden his perspective of different aspects of the game, whether he's sitting on the bench not playing, whether he's starting, whether he's playing a lot of minutes, whether he's not playing a lot of minutes, whether he's coming off the bench. These are all good things for him to get a taste of and understand, and to see what kind of roles those different roles are. And last night, in some ways, Scotty was kind of like our crowd. He was our fans in some ways, because he may have been the loudest person in that building last night. And thank God for something like that. But that's got to be really weird to suddenly have to play back in a vacuumous big building like that at some point. But Fred did say after the game, he didn't notice it until somebody mentioned it or made a comment about it. It's like, oh yeah, there was no fans there last night, so maybe that's good. Good morning, MK. Great win. We just need to stay healthy now. Having Kem back was great. Yeah, Kem was really interesting. He played mostly in the first half. He didn't play as much in the second half. Chris kind of ate up the clutch minutes at center last night, which was fantastic to see in itself. But Kem Burge, honestly, I don't know what his knack is for getting his hands somehow on the ball around the basket in rebounding situations. He's so good at least getting a couple fingers on it and getting it either knocked out or a little bit, something tipped out, or getting it himself or something like that. I love that. And that little spin move he put on Serge, like that was fun to see. Serge versus Kem last night. It was like now versus the past. And Serge was playing him really good on that one play, and then he did the little spin around and did the little hook over him, and he made it. I love that. Like, Kem did look really good. I was shocked that he started, honestly. I thought he would start Precious over Kem just because Kem's been hurt and he's been out way longer. But, I think that, Nick Nurse made the right move. He did things by seniority last night. And that's why, one of the commenters yesterday said, that's stupid. It's not a factory. Well, you know what? Listen, if you have a young team and you need continuity from an era before, you need to use your veterans. You need to use your guys with the experience. And we know who those guys are. They're the three main guys that had big games last night. And OG, listen, I thought he was out of rhythm. He looked awful at times. He did not look good for most of the game. But all of a sudden, I look at the box score at the end of the game. He's got 26 points or something. Like, I was like, holy cow, he did play really well. And it was ugly. It was an ugly OG game. Like, he was not at 100%. You could tell. The way he was moving was kind of slow and lethargic, and his defense wasn't as good as it normally is. So this is great because he's going to get even better and better as he gets his conditioning back. And they really did work really well as a three-pronged attack. OG, Pascal, and Fred. They were just doing so many good things off of each other and stuff like that. But I love that. I love that. So let's see. Andrew, happy New Year's, man. Let's go. Yes, right. 2022 is going to be a year for the Raptors again. This schedule in January is going to be looking some tough games coming up. Yeah, but I think we're up for the task, and we'll rise to the occasion against teams like Brooklyn, Miami, Utah. These games are going to be coming up. Milwaukee twice at home coming up in the next 10 days or so. So we got to be ready and to battle. We got our guys back. We need to go in with ready to battle and really find the synergy, the neat little surprises of excitement from the combinations and the things that we can do. In some ways, the fact that we're still figuring that out is part of our problem, is that we get in these stagnant periods where our offense looks really bad because we're kind of still trying to figure it out. And once we smooth those rough spots over and we feel like a more competent team with exactly knowing what we're doing at all times, it's going to be nasty because these weapons that we have on this team are varied and multifaceted, and there's a couple of them. There's not just like 2 or 3 guys on the Raptors you have to worry about like in the past. Now there's about 3 or 4 at least that you need to worry about that can take over the game. Kenrick, good morning, man. Happy New Year, man. I hope you had a safe, fun New Year's last night and enjoyed it well. Rest in peace, Betty White. What a blow. That was messed up to find that out right before New Year's last night. It's really sad in some ways, but in other ways, some people were saying it's just like her. Think about it. Everybody was doing toast to Betty White last night. So she probably got the most toast ever of like somebody who just passed. But anyway, good morning to you, man. The next 2 games are very winnable. MK47. Yes, tomorrow we got the Knicks. Julius Randle is in health and safety protocols. And then we get the Spurs on Tuesday. And they have I don't even know how to say his name. Murray is in safety protocols for the Spurs. So these are both teams that are not full strength and that they're gettable. And they're both home games. So think about this, guys. We're 2 games under 500 at home. We're 2 games under 500 for our whole record. We're 8-10 at home, and if we get these 2 wins, we'll be 500 even at both records. So let's try and make this a little mini goal over the next 4 days. I'd love to see this happen. But the other thing is after we play the Spurs, we get on the road and we immediately go to Milwaukee and play them in Milwaukee on Wednesday. So it's going to be a really interesting first week of 2022, and hopefully what we saw last night, we'll see more of it, a full cast of players playing for us. And it was great. Even Champagny clearing in the middle of the day yesterday and getting to play last night was a factor. He played some really key minutes and did some key stuff late in the game last night to help us with energy, hustle, and rebounding. And this team has a lot of nice tools and weapons to use. And it really is up to Nick Nurse how he wants to wield them. So, and I honestly, I really love that he played Chris late in the game during crunch time. And he was rewarded us and the team by putting him out there because I think there is a new mindset there that we had a shutdown defense in the fourth quarter once again. And I think Chris Boucher had a big part of that. I know Pascal was playing out of his mind last night. Like, he was just dialed in the zone, whether it was getting rebounds, whether it was his defensive assignments. He was just on fire. Honestly, Pascal Siakam, can't see how anybody hates this man and doesn't want him on your own team. The rest of the league wants Pascal Siakam on their own team. We need to start respecting him, even when he's having lulls and little mini slumps, because the man is an artist. The man does things on the court like a surgeon does. He cuts that offense up. Like that one pass that Fred threw to him and he got broke away and that jump late in the game. That's at crunch time. Within 2 minutes of the game being over, they got that play off. That's a complete defensive breakdown, a read by Fred VanVleet, and then the chemistry and the talent and the skill to be able to execute that and get that jam like that was phenomenal. That's the kind of stuff I'm talking about. Let's keep going. Kenrick, if we could get a couple of 10-plus scores off the bench, yeah, I think this will naturally develop with our whole roster being together. Scotty, if he had played last night, I mean, what would have happened? In some ways, he helped Nick not have to make that tough decision still by coming into the office and saying he had tendonitis in his knee, that it made Nick not have to make that tough decision about who was going to start and who was going to have to be on the bench. And, it was weird. He didn't expect Scotty not to play, apparently. He said that it was like, whoa, wait, Scotty's not playing? I'm really shocked because he's a young guy, and they expect him to be like recovery and bounce back quickly and stuff like that. I think that honestly, it was one of those little ticky-tack kind of things, like half hurt, not really that hurt, probably could have played, but they did it just to, maybe partly because of the problems we're talking about with figuring out who's going to start and stuff, because it is a really big deal in some ways. And, it'll help once we get him back. Our bench score will go up. Our bench wasn't so awful last night. And in fact, the two guys I've been dogging all week, Svi and Malachi, actually, they didn't play a whole lot, and they did make shots like initially right away. And they did look okay at the time, but they didn't get to play a whole lot. I mean, I think Malachi was out there for 5 minutes and Svi was out there for 12. He got 4 points. He got a 3-pointer and a free throw. They didn't hurt us too bad, and they did some good things for us. Banton, he was only out there for 3 minutes. He didn't score, but Nick Nurse was very high on what Delano Banton did in the game last night. He said that he was kind of a big part in a swing to help us scoring-wise, that he didn't score, but he was +4 in the plus-minus there. And then you look at Precious. Precious had a little bit of a tough game shooting, but he didn't really play a whole lot last night. And, he was active. He was what he was. And Yuta only played in the first half. He missed all of his shots. He had an unfortunate game. But you got to give Yuta a break on everything just because the effort is always there from him. And Chris really was our best bench player in a way. He didn't score a whole lot, but he got 9 rebounds. The thing that killed the Clippers last night was the offensive rebounds. We out-rebounded the hell out of the Clippers last night. We almost got 20 more rebounds than them. They shot way better than us. They should have beat us, but we manufactured way more shots than them, and that's how we did it once again. We get more shots, we end up winning, and that's through offensive rebounds and turnovers. We don't turn the ball over and we make the other team turn the ball over more than us. We get more opportunities, and that's how we win. Because the Clippers were shooting the lights out in that game for a while. They were shooting like 58%. And then we're shooting over 50% for 3 for most of the game. And then it was really tough. Like, those threes were killing us. They need to watch the tape today and really understand how Reggie Jackson and that Coffey kid were getting so open and getting those really good looks and killing us like that, because we got the game started really well. I loved seeing us come out, Gary Trent get this nice, smooth, buttery smooth 3-point shot, like just perfect. And then like we're operating, and then all of a sudden we're up by this huge margin already in the first quarter. But then we let them back in. We had a lull and they got hot on threes, and then all of a sudden the Clippers were winning the game right all of a sudden. And we didn't hold our heads. We stuck in there and we battled with them, and we overcame it in the end. And really in the end, it was these veteran presences of Pascal and Fred and OG and different people holding it down and doing the right things and making sure defensive assignments got done, rebounds were gotten, and trying to execute as best as they can on the other end. It was really, really, really nice performance. It wasn't pretty at times. We would have liked it to not have as much stress, and the possibility of losing was very there. And it might have been really sad and awful if we had lost this game last night, considering who they had and who we did. But we didn't let that happen. That's the most important thing, that in the end, we did make sure we won. So, all right, let's keep going. Andrew says, Fred having all-star performances. He has to make the all-star. Voted for Fred today. Yeah, they did a stat on the game last night. They were talking about certain players, like who has this amount of points, assists, and rebounds. And Fred was on this list with like Jokic and LeBron James and all these names that are all all-stars. So the stats don't lie. They're telling us that because of his ability to get assists and rebounds this year, his rebounds are insane. And his scoring average is pretty good. He's online with all-star kind of numbers. Some people will look at it and they'll give us the Canada discount. Toronto haters will say, no, none of your guys are all-stars. You're a garbage team and you don't serve anyone. Well, fuck you. You don't know, because you don't probably pay close attention to the Raptors because you don't get to see them. But Fred VanVleet is an all-star, and I think that because of the way the all-star system is set up with this hashtag stuff, and now we can get there ourselves, that the fans can inundate the all-star voting system with hashtags all day, every day, Instagram, Twitter, everywhere. Put it everywhere because they all count. And I don't know what the numbers early are already, because they just started this on Christmas Day. So there's been voting for like a week now. But I think the early returns right away are showing Fred with a nice little bit, because every time I go on Twitter, I see Fred VanVleet is trending. Like hashtag Fred VanVleet is trending. So if we're going to we could get, hopefully Pascal will be on the all-star team too, but that'll probably be by coach's merit. He may not get the starting spot, but then he could get on the team because the coaches are like, this guy's too good. He's an all-star also. So we could get 2 all-stars that way, but I think we vote Fred in as fans and get him on that starting lineup as best as we can. And I know it'll be tough. There's a lot of guards in the East. They're going to get votes and different things like that. But Fred's got some popularity. He's shown some things to people. And we have a whole country. And in some ways, we have a whole globe looking out for Fred and voting for him. So I'd love to see that. And all right, we were talking about him doing those drills with his son at home this week with on Instagram. He did the little cone thing. He did that in the game last night. It was so fun. That layup he had at one point where he went through like 4 Clippers and made it just perfectly, just by the skin of his teeth, and just missing them, trying to block him and everything. That was beautiful. And that was that cone drill personified in the middle of the game. And I love that. I love that so much. It was just such a cool little moment, seeing the work at home with Fred Jr. being into practice in the game. It was so cool. Well, something I want to talk to y'all about right now that happened yesterday that was really kind of disgusting and pissed me off a lot. It's Goran Dragic, y'all. I don't know if y'all saw this picture or saw what he's doing right now, but he's in Miami, and he's at the Miami Heat practice facility taking shots and gearing up for a comeback. Now, I don't know what this motherfucker thinks he's doing, because he ain't going to be playing for the Heat. And all these idiot Heat fans are saying, oh, we got one over on the Raptors. We got Lowry for nothing, now because Dragic is in our building and they think they got Dragic back. You are stupid people. I mean, Florida's dumb for what's happening with COVID and stuff like that, but y'all are stupid. Just because this man's in your arena doesn't mean you have any rights to him. Doesn't mean that he's on your team. We still own his ass. He's on our roster, and he's probably had to get permission to be in your facility in Miami from Masai Ujiri. He's not allowed to be there, and if he didn't get positioned, there may be some sort of weird tampering going on with this. So I would really think, all right, Miami, you're already been in trouble for the Kyle Lowry deal earlier this year. You lost a draft. You need to watch out. You're going to let a player who's on our team come and play in your practice facility and start doing stuff. It looks a little fishy. And honestly, if y'all want him back, go ahead. I mean, y'all are desperate, obviously, because you just went and got Mario Chalmers on a 10-day. Miami fans, you got it twisted. No, you didn't rob us of getting Kyle Lowry and still getting Goran Dragic back. We got Precious from y'all, and y'all took our aging point guard. You can get a couple good years out of him, yes, and enjoy him being there and his presence. He is a great player. He's a fantastic player, but we've traded for the future. And Goran Dragic was never part of the future. He was just in there to make the money work. He might as well have been styrofoam peanuts in a box, and Precious was the goods. Oh, yeah. So listen, don't get it twisted. You didn't get anything over on us. Goran Dragic is not on your team. And you know what? You guys are stupid. I'm sorry, Miami fan. You're really dumb today. Anyway, all right, getting back to stuff. The game last night was fantastic. I'm so happy that the team ended up winning. We ended the year in a good note with being 41-59 instead of 40-60. 41-59, I'll take it in this garbage year full of 2 pandemic hits on the team, playing in Tampa, having no players at times and no fans at times, no coaches at times during this crazy ass calendar year. I will take, it is what it is. But this year is actually going to be, we're going to talk about the seeds that were planted in this year, like Scotty Barnes coming to this team, Precious Achiuwa coming to this team, Gary Trent coming to this team, Kem Birch coming to this team, Masai Ujiri signing his extension with this team. These are all huge, beautiful, great things that happen in an ugly, awful year. And that these are the seeds for the future, and they will bear great fruit eventually. So, listen, Miami, you can have Kyle Lowry. We love Kyle Lowry. I'm not denigrating Kyle Lowry, but you guys, you didn't get necessarily the best part of this deal. You may think you did. Maybe short term you did, but in the long term, and y'all are putting that in a way that's not very fair. It's ugly. You say, oh, he shoots 30%. He's garbage anyway. Listen, you're just selling yourself that to make yourself feel better because you just let go of one of your best prospects that your team has gotten in years. That Precious Achiuwa is a real deal athlete, and he can do a whole lot. So just you tell yourself whatever you need to tell yourself in all this. But don't get it twisted. Listen, Dragic is only in your facility because Masai Ujiri and Bobby Webster said he would. I'm positive that he had to get permission to be down there. I don't give a shit. That's how he's so inconsequential in Miami's arena with them. The only thing that pisses me off is if he knows a lot about our system and the way we play, and he's down there sharing Kentucky Fried Chicken proprietary secrets about the secret recipe. And I don't want that. But whatever. Like, honestly, it's so dumb. All right, what else is there to talk about last night? It was, they had some stuff from their players. Serge was an interesting player last night. He had 7 points, 7 rebounds. He was active. He looked good. I liked seeing Serge make the first of the game for his first 3. In fact, I cheered for him when he made that 3. I was like, wait, what? He's on the other team. I cheered for Serge making a 3 against us. And then I'm like, wait, I was so used to cheering for him. But it was so dumb that they did that tribute for him last night. I mean, it was stupid. I understand. It was a beautifully together package with really awesome clips, really emotional kind of thing. But what the fuck are you doing, MLSE? Save your shot. You didn't need to do that last night. And it was really awkward. They're showing Serge on the bench during it. He's listening to his coach. He's all professional. He wasn't doing the Tristan Thompson like I'm acknowledging the crowd like he did with Sacramento earlier this year. Serge deserves better. And once again, this is just like the Kyle Lowry, never getting to say goodbye to him in Raptor jersey here. This is just another travesty that Serge came back to Toronto for the first time, and he didn't get the adoration that he deserves from our fans here. And it is too bad. Kenrick says, I think 2022 will be a year. Hopefully we get through the injury bug early. Well, if this is our period of COVID protocols, that'd be great. If we can keep away from them for the rest of the year, maybe the guys are real smart. Like, wasn't it so sad and ironic after all the talk we've talked about this week about getting DJ Wilson on our team, that right before the game yesterday, he went into protocols, that he tested positive and he couldn't play in this game last night. That may mean that's it. Like, honestly, I know we're high on him and we'd like to get all these different players, but the team that we have is the team that we want. And he may be good on it, but it's also the factors of, like, I know there's an open roster spot, but there's a luxury tax and there's different things like that. But now he's in protocols, and that's really might screw up his chances to make our team, honestly, because it did for Nick Stauskas. It did for Goodwin. So it sucks. It's sad. I think these guys are done. Hopefully our guys are back, and we're not going to have to use any G League guys anymore, that we can just run with our regular team and roster for the rest of the year, hopefully. But if we do have to get some more hardship guys, let's see what happens. There may be some guys we can get. Let's see. Kenrick says Serge looked disinterested. I don't know if I would say disinterested. He's like they kept saying during the game last night, he's a pro. He has a certain routine. He has a certain way that he carries himself as a professional player. It's not that he's disinterested. It may be that, like, I don't know, that may have been a hard game for him to play last night in some ways. It was nice that he got to start, but I bet it was very melancholy, because I don't think Serge ever truly did want to leave Toronto. That it was just this weird impasse of cap structure for trying to get Giannis that year. They knew that he didn't fit in that picture, and they had to let him go. And I think in some ways that Serge is bitter towards us that he isn't still a Toronto Raptor, because I think in some ways he really did want to stay here and be here for the rest of his career, and that we just couldn't facilitate that with our future goals, considering things and stuff like that. I think it sucks, because honestly, Serge would have helped us so much during the Tampa year. Honestly, the season, we would have been in way better shape that season. And maybe he wouldn't have gotten his hurt because he had Alex McKechnie and our great sports science and stuff like that, because he hurt his back after he left us. And he's had a really hard time since he's left the Clippers. We got to remember, since he's left us and been on the Clippers, he had to play on the G League earlier this season. He wanted to play on the G League. He requested the Clippers put him on the G League, and he played in the G League for a while this season already. So he's been fighting to get himself back. And I'm sure that this is not the return that he envisioned coming back to Toronto. So there'll be a little bit of emotions and stuff like that, and sadness that he wasn't on the team that he might want to be right now with Fred and Pal and OG and Chris. Those are his friends, his buddies he played with for so many games. And you saw it after the game when the game ended, how palling around and how happy they were to be all around and reunited together. So I think that was part of it. I don't know if he's disinterested, because that Clipper team is trying, and they're scrappy. They play really good defense considering who they had for personnel. And, their three-point shot winning team, they're scary. So I don't know. I think that's just he's been clawing his way back to get back into their rotation. And, I bet it was really sad to see that building so empty and have all the memories in that building of the different things that he did in there from before. I think it was a lot of that, really, honestly. But honestly, I'm so glad he got to get the game myself. We had tickets, and then, of course, everybody lost their tickets and nobody got to go. So it was weird. There were, other things about the game last night that were just really strange. Like, I don't understand totally why they're still doing all the protocols if nobody's actually sitting in the seats. I guess maybe because of the friends and family, couple dozens so that were sitting in one section, they have to do all the mass protocols and warning stuff that they do in the in-game service stuff. But, it was really interesting to see the guy do the intros, Strizzy do the intros, like really loud as normal. and Herbie still, it was still our building. And it probably was really super weird for them to play in a place like that. You got a certain amount of energy that is lacking because the fans just aren't there. And that's tough in some ways. But I think it's the other team also in some ways. Like it's just how it is. These open, empty arenas during the pandemic from time to time. So, well, all right. I don't know how much more I want to talk about today. It was a great win, guys. We're starting the year off on the great foot, and I'm really excited to see more and more of the combinations, the permutations, the synergiations of this team as we get fully healthy and have everybody all out there in different ways. I love seeing different combinations that Nick tries out there and stuff like that. Like that energy group that he put in last night with Champagny, Boucher, Siakam, who else was out there? OG at times, and Fred. That was really good, because they kind of swung the game right at the end of the game into our favor and started letting us take control of it. Because I was real worried that this was going to be like some of the games we've had in the last month or so, where we're behind for most of the game. We just don't have no gas at the end of the game to make that last push, hold the lead, and win. But we did last night, and we did it convincingly because honestly, we did a really good job of building a lead right at the end of the game. So that it was out of touch. The refs couldn't do anything screwy to possibly get them the game. And also, we didn't give up a bunch of points at the end. We played really good, solid defense at the end of the game last night. And that's really a big part of what won. Is that defense that we've seen at times during the season so far, that shutdown defense where the other team just can't score on us because we're just really keen on them, is going to be a huge factor for us going forward this season. So hopefully we see that more consistently at times. Like we had a real problem getting to their 3-point shooters at times last night. And that was really a big thing that was keeping them ahead and in this game is the 3-point shooting, because I fully expected us to blow them out. Because with what we were doing at times, we looked like we could do whatever we wanted to when we were actually executing. But it also at times we looked really bad and we were missing these shots, open shots and stuff like that. So it's a mixed bag. But a lot of that is conditioning and also way and not having our rhythms yet. And OG was a big part of that. But OG didn't even have his rhythm last night, and he got 26 points still. That's amazing to me, honestly, because he didn't look good to me last night. Honestly, I didn't think he looked that good on defense. And his shot, he was really awkward in the way he was moving around and stuff like that. So you can tell he's not 100%. But he still came out there, played 36 minutes, and got 26 points. It's insane. And I really love Pascal rebounding. I want him to do this all the time. Like, if you could really get some crazy rebounding numbers all the time, if it's not Chris, if it's you getting 19 rebounds in a game, that's fantastic. And once again, he was upset that he didn't get one more and get 20. This is like these guys keep getting 19 rebounds. They're so freaking close. You got to just get that last one. Come on. I know we don't care about the individual accolades and stuff like that, but that is something. And 18 offensive rebounds really won this game for us, guys. I mean, 18 offensive rebounds. They only had 3. We 18. That's the game right there. That's the game right there. And I love that we won the points in the paint. There were certain stats that they absolutely killed us. Like, they shot way better than us all around, and we out-rebounded them. They had more assists. We had better hustle stats in some ways. Actually, they had better hustle stats. They had more turnovers. That was a big part too. We caused more turnovers, and we took care of the ball on the other end. So that was a big part of it also. Okay, guys, tomorrow, New York Knicks. That's right. We get to play a division rival. I feel real good about it. They're going to be coming here. It'll be here in Toronto. And we'll see. Hopefully everybody's okay and everything's fine, and we show up. And I think we're the worst is past. I want to knock on wood just in case. And the other thing that happened too yesterday, let me just real quick, Tyronn Lue got COVID before the game in Canada yesterday, so he couldn't coach. So they had Brian Shaw coaching the Clippers last night. But now there's some concern whether he's going to be able to come back into the United States because he got it here in Canada. There may be a 2-week quarantine period before he can re-enter the United States. So this is a serious thing about traveling the border to come to Canada to play us that maybe needs to be figured out. So Raymond Jacob, good morning, man. 18 offensive rebounds means we missed 18 times. Yeah, well, everybody's going to miss sometimes, but the 18 rebounds means that we had 18 times where we made an effort to beat the other team to get the rebound they were supposed to get. That's what I'm saying. There's going to be missed shots no matter what, but 18 offensive, and that usually means more points. That's more chances to shoot. And that's the big difference right there. It's like they shot 78 shots total for the game, and we shot almost 196. So that's 18 more shots than them. And that's the difference right there. And that's really that we manufacture more shots than the other team if we're going to shoot worse than them, and they're going to get more free throw opportunities and stuff like that. We get more shots from turnovers from the other team and offensive rebounds. And I think that they've been super successful this season many times. And that's part of our calling card is offensive rebounds and causing turnovers and getting points in transition. So I can't fault that. I mean, your logic is true, Raymond, but still, I'm glad they're shooting. I'm glad they're getting more shots, and that means wins because the W is all that matters to me. It could be ugly as fuck. We could have all kinds of crazy, ugly things happen in the game, and we just win by 1 point at the last second. I'm fine with it, because that's all that ultimately matters to me. I don't care about any other stats any more than the W and the L. And if we get W, that's all that matters. I mean, even by the skin of our teeth. Like that Cleveland game where they beat us at the last second and we were winning the whole game and they won right at the end of the game. That was an ugly game for them, but they won at the skin of their teeth and they got the W. And I'm sure Cleveland fans were perfectly fine with that win. Okay, let's see. Andrew Raptors' New Year's resolution is win, 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 win. Yes, yes. Music to my ears. Music to my ears, my friend. Yes. All right, guys. I'm going to wrap now. There's not a whole lot more that I wanted to say. Unless you guys want to talk anything else about the game. I just love the fact that our three-prong attack of veterans really showed up last night. Huge scoring points, carrying us. Fred VanVleet with huge threes at times. He didn't look totally back yet. He didn't have his feet for a little while in the game, but then, a good thing. He rested a couple guys in the fourth for a long time so that when they came in at the end of the game, they could actually hit their shots. And Fred was one of them. Gary was another. Actually, we didn't see Gary a whole lot near the end of the game. He kind of had a quiet game, but it is what it is. But overall, just a great performance by them as a collective. And it's really nice to see those vets do super stuff as superstars and not shrink in the moments where we really need them or, mess up and stuff like that. We did really good execution near the end of the game. All right. Like, comment, subscribe, and share. I appreciate y'all hanging around, meeting up with me every morning around 9 a.m. Eastern time for live streams every day, all through 2022. I'm even going to do these in the off season, y'all. I made it a lot shorter, and there may be not as much to talk about, but I'll figure out content. I don't care. I'm going to be a Raptors fun source to talk about stuff every single day. It doesn't matter. There's no off season for the Raptor Freak. All right, y'all. Let's go. Let's beat the Knicks tomorrow. Atlantic Division rivals. The history, the history from the very start of this league, once again, is put on display here in Toronto, where it all started at Maple Leaf Gardens. So let's see another successful effort by the Raptors against the Knicks, a rival, somebody we want to beat. Okay. All right. Have a great Saturday, a great first day of the new year, and be good to each other. Love your loved ones and look at the good things in life. Focus on the positives because they will grow when you look at them. When you look at the negatives, they grow. So it's your choice. You want to look at the negatives? Go ahead and let them grow. But I'm looking at a flower garden of positivity that's growing in abundance for myself. So I say you take that advice as well. All right. Have a great day, y'all, and a great weekend. And love your loved ones and Happy New Year.